Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Vicki Wenzel, and I'm going to be teaching your pathophysiology class this semester. Right now, I would like to go over your syllabus and talk to you just a little bit about what's going to happen over this next 16 weeks. So I hope you're all excited. If you haven't gotten your syllabus off of Canvas yet, please go print it and get prepared, and we're going to run through it, and then you can take some notes and stuff, okay? So, it's not a very long syllabus. It's probably, I don't know, 20 pages or so. Maybe not even that long. And then we'll look at the calendar just a little bit too. So, get your syllabus for us and let's get going. So first of all, you'll find my name and my office and my cell phone number. If you need to get a hold of me and it's an emergency, please use my cell phone, okay? The number's there. If it's Monday through Thursday, please use my office number. I will be doing clinicals on Fridays, so don't call me on my cell phone on Fridays, okay? Unless it's Friday mornings, because clinical's in the afternoon. My office hours are printed on the syllabus. You can see them there. This is what we call a hybrid class. So we will meet 4 times in the semester, and the first time we'll meet just to talk over the class. You know, we won't have the syllabus to do, but we'll have like what do the exams look like, what does the discussion board look like, all that kind of stuff. So we will do that, okay? So the first class will be August 29th, and it will be in Ackley room 207, and it will be from 4 in the afternoon till 4:50 in the afternoon, okay? And then the other 3 will be exams that you will do. You will do your midterm and your final exam here in a proctored environment in the library, okay? All your weekly quizzes, because you have a weekly quiz every week, can be done at home. Excuse me. You can work with a buddy. You can use your notes. You can use your book. Anything you want for your weekly quizzes. You cannot do that with your midterm and your final exam. So my suggestion is for you, while you're going through these weekly things, do all the activities in Canvas and learn, take lots of notes, make your own note cards, whatever you need to do, because that stuff will come up on the midterm or the final. Okay? This is a 3-credit hour course. The course description and the course requirements are on your syllabus. I am going to let you read those. Okay? And if you run to page 2, there are computer requirements in there. You can use either Google Chrome or Firefox, or actually whatever you like for an internet browser. Those 2 work really well with Canvas, and those are the ones I use, so you can do what you want. There is also a learning styles inventory, so try and get that done. There is a link right there at the bottom of this learning styles inventory. Go in and take that. It'll tell you how to study, how you learn best, okay? The program learning outcomes are here. The course objectives are here. And actually page 3 and the top of page 4 are all course objectives. So just read over them. It's what we want you to get out of this class, what we want you to learn. Okay? Required materials for this class. I really, really, really want you to have this book. It's Pathophysiology, A Practical Approach by Latchell Story. It is the 3rd edition. This is a really good book. Now, I've had a few questions already about the access codes. You do not need an access code. The access code provides you with a lot of resources that maybe aren't in the book. So I think it's great to have that, but if you don't want to have the access code, you don't have to have it from my class. I don't teach from it. I don't tell you to get in and do anything with it. I think the access code is nice because it's got more study stuff in there for you, but I leave that up to the students if they want to do it. Okay. The other book you need is this APA manual. It is also the 6th edition. You have to have this because everything you do from now on in throughout college will be an APA style, and this book is made for APA style. Okay. The other thing you need is Nursing Central web-based learning application. You will use that through your whole 3 years of nursing school, so please go to the library and work with a librarian on getting that. And the other thing you need is reference point software. Okay, there is a link in there in the syllabus for you to go get that reference point software and download it. I have at my house, for me, I've always used Perla, which is the same kind of thing. Reference point is what we suggest here. It will help you make all of your word references, your citations. It'll work really well for you. So please buy it and use it, okay? During this class, we're going to do a lot of things. It's all online except the exams in the first class, so there will be a lot of weekly activities for you to do. There will be quizzes, there will be discussion questions, there will be, in each week I have a PowerPoint that I've made. It's a voiceover PowerPoint, so it would be just like being in class. I would listen to that PowerPoint, take notes, and learn from the PowerPoint, okay? There are a few places in there where my voice kind of fades in and out. Just be patient with it. It was the microphone I was using those couple of days, okay? There is, at the bottom of page 4 in your syllabus is the Nebraska Wesleyan's commitment to students with disability. If you feel you have a disability towards learning, you should see Sandy McBride. She is our disabilities coordinator. She is in Old Main in room 126, and her phone number and her website or her email address are both on here. So talk to her. She'll get you some accommodations if you feel like you need some extra help in classes. Statement of academic integrity. I do not accept any kind of plagiarism. I don't accept any kind of copying from one another. That's not how you're going to learn. You're going to learn by doing the work yourself, and that is what I expect. But read over that little paragraph there. Title IX, if you feel you're being harassed, sexually harassed, physically or verbally harassed, please come talk to me. We do not want that here at Wesleyan, and we need to put a stop to it. So if you feel like there is some bullying going on, any kind of thing where you feel uncomfortable and you don't feel safe here, I want to know about it. And we have channels that will go up with that. There are some confidential resources listed on this page. If you want to get into that and look at it, that would be great. Okay. I'm up to page 6 now, so go look through that stuff. Students are required to submit an electronic copy of your written assignments. I do not take paper copies. They all go into Canvas. Electronic copies of presentations can be requested by faculty members, so we'll see what happens with that. Electronic versions of papers and presentations will be stored for 3 years. And then anybody that comes in to accredit us, either the whole college or the Wesleyan nursing program, they can look at some of those papers. We store them for 3 years, so they have every right to go look at them to see what we're teaching you and how you're learning. Electronic portfolio submission. There is an electronic portfolio that we suggest that you submit. Well, we don't suggest, we say that you have to submit to, and in this class it will be your poster that you're going to do towards the end of the semester. Okay, so read through this so you know what you need to do for that. You are expected as a student at Wesleyan to use the Wesleyan email system. That's the only way I can get a hold of you is through the email system, so please, please, please use that. If you try to get a hold of me with a Gmail, it probably won't come through, okay? So you'll want to do that. If you don't own your own computer, Wesleyan has computers all over campus. You can use any computer on campus you want. You can get to your email, you can do your homework, you can do your library searches, you can do anything you want on Wesleyan email or on the Wesleyan campus with the computer. So if you tell me your computer was in the shop last week and that's why you didn't get your homework done, I'm sorry that you didn't get your homework done, but you're going to get a 0, okay? Because there are plenty of computers here at Wesleyan for you to use, okay? The library has an extensive database that you can use to find references. And I'm going to say this probably more than you would like to hear it, but if you are looking something up, and I do expect you to do that in this class, your references should be less than 5 years old. So I don't want to see you reference and cite something from 1998. Medicine changes really quick, so we want the most updated stuff, okay? All right, let's see. Course requirements. You need to attend every face-to-face class we have, and there are 4 of them, okay? Don't be late. You lose points if you're late. You lose points if you leave early. You lose points if you go home sick. You lose points if you don't show up. Also with discussion, if you're not active in the discussion board every week for me, then you're going to lose points for that too. So please be there for discussion. Please be there for all of our face-to-face classes. Okay. Please read that over, the course requirements for attendance. I think I went through most of that. So let's go to page 8. Okay. Written assignments. All written assignments are to be typed, double-spaced, and proofread prior to submission. These should all be done with the APA guidelines. That's where you use this book, APA guidelines, okay, or your reference point. That will do it for you too. I don't want any paper copies. I won't accept them. If you use a Mac computer, that's great. Just don't save anything in a Pages format because I can't open them, okay? If you have late work, you'll lose a deduction of 5 points per day that it takes you to get your late work in. Except discussions, they're a little bit different, and we're going to go over that, okay? In the middle of page 8 is your course assessment, so that's where you learn, where you know that 97 to 100% is an A+, okay? To get past this course and pass it, you have to have at least a C, and that is a 73 to 76%. So you have to have a C to get through the course, okay? The exam policy is a little different this year, okay? During administration of exam, midterm, Kaplan, and final, all personal belongings must be placed against the wall in the classroom. No hats or caps can be worn during the exam. Faculty will not answer questions during the exam. Do not ask me any questions during the exam, okay, regarding the exam content. If you don't understand the question, don't ask me. You've got to learn to understand questions or read them through until you do, because I won't be there to help you on NCLEX, okay? No cell phones, calculators, or any device with access to the internet can be used during an exam. Any wearable technology, such as an Apple Watch or a Samsung Watch, will have to be taken off and stowed in your backpack, okay? You will do all your exams in Canvas, and they will be over what we've already done, and I think the midterms over weeks 1 through 7 or something like that. I can't really quite remember. There'll be multiple choice questions, multiple answer questions, essay, matching, alternative type questions, or true false questions. The exams are timed, so if you have a 50 question exam, you get 60 minutes to finish it, okay? Students are expected to take exams as scheduled by the instructor. That means you be there the day of the exam. Students arriving late to the exam cause disruptions, disturbing the concentration of students who have arrived on time. Therefore, students are expected to be in their seats in the testing room ready to start the exam at the scheduled exam start time. No coming in a half a minute early and messing around with your backpacks and your hats and your phones. You be there and be ready to go if the exam is at 4 o'clock, you're ready to go at 4 o'clock, okay? If you're late to the exam, you won't be permitted to enter the room. So if I've closed the door because we've started the exam, you might as well just turn around and go home, because I'm not going to let you take the exam at that point. Students missing an exam are required to contact the faculty to schedule the exam retake. So that is up to you. If you miss the exam, if you're sick, you're late, whatever, you need to talk to me about when you're going to retake it. Rescheduling of exams will be done based upon the availability of an exam proctor, and that proctor is either me or maybe Brian in the nursing administrator's office, okay? Rescheduling exams will be done based upon the availability. I already told you that. Students will not be permitted to miss class or clinical in order to make up an exam. There will be a 5% deduction in the final grade for the exam for each day the exam is late, okay? So if you miss the exam and you text me and say, can I take the exam later this afternoon, and I can't do it for you, the earliest I could do it is tomorrow morning, you'll get a 5% deduction already in your class. It doesn't make, I'm not going to do that on purpose, but if I've got other meetings and stuff scheduled, I'm not skipping them because you weren't at an exam. You need to be there, and then you need to be able to take the exam during your proctor's not busy times to take them, okay? I just want you to get used to doing that. Students who are absent from the exam because of illness are expected to notify the faculty via email prior to the start of the exam. You will need a note either from your personal physician or the student health nurse if you're going to miss an exam because you're ill. I need to see that note, okay? And you will need to give me that note the first day you return for class. Let's see. The instructor reserves the right to administer an alternative exam covering the same content to students taking the exam at a later time. So makeup tests, exams, or quiz procedures. If a student takes a test outside of the scheduled time, this will be considered a makeup test. The test must be made up with 1 week of the originally scheduled time. Failure to do so will result in a 0 for the test. See test exam policy above, where we talked about deductions. A student may miss 1 test without penalty, except for the deductions, okay, as long as the test is made up. If the student misses more than 1 test, the test may be made up, but the maximum score allowed is 80% plus deductions. Any further makeup tests are a maximum of 50%. Exam policy. Traditional BSN students are required to achieve an exam average of 75%. So for your midterm exam and your final exam, the 2 of them together, you have to have at least a 75% average. If you can't get a 75% average on your midterms, you're not going to pass the class. Okay? If this average is not achieved, the traditional BSN student will automatically fail the course. When the 75% or higher exam average is not attained, the grade entered for the course will be the exam average score. The next part on page 9 is your learning activities. So there will be 10 discussion questions throughout the semester. There will be the midterm and the final exam, which we've already talked about. There are 13 weekly quizzes. You'll have a SAS rubric, you'll have a Kaplan exam, and you will have a poster to do. Okay? The Kaplan exam is something that you will take, and I'm sure many of you took this before you got into the nursing program. This is going to be a little bit different. In each of your courses that you take throughout the next 3 years, you will be taking a Kaplan exam. This one is more on pathophysiology. It is worth 100 points and 10% of your grade. There are 2 parts to the Kaplan. One is a review, and the other one is the exam. The review part, which we put most emphasis on, is worth 75 points of that 100, and then the exam is worth 25 points. To receive all the points for the review, the student will complete an untimed focus review, which we'll talk about when we get closer to exam time. One-time focus review with a review of 2 hours minimum while you're doing the attempt. Students may repeat the focus review 1 time if they are unsuccessful on their first attempt, but a new focus review test will be created with 2 additional hours of review. Grading for the focus review is based on the below score, which we'll look at in a minute. If you choose to do the focus review twice, faculty will take the highest score. Okay, so if you got an 82 on your first exam and thought, oh, I could do better than that, and you went back and got a 76, we would take the 82. Students who score less than the national mean on a Kaplan exam for a specified topic will earn 0 points. So you have to get at least the national mean to earn any points on that. Okay. Faculty teaching the course will provide students with the specific national means set by Kaplan. The grading scale below, which we've got next, is divided into 2 parts. So the first one is your focused review, which is worth 75 points. You do this before you take the exam. Doing this is your ticket into taking the Kaplan exam. Okay, so if you get 94% and above, you get all 75 of your points. If you get 88 to 93, you get 50 points. If you get 82 to 87, you get 25 points. Anything below an 82 would get you 0 points. Okay, and then if you look at the next column, your Kaplan exam score, 25 points. If you meet or exceed the national mean, this is where that national mean comes in, you get the 25 points. If you are less than the national mean, you get 0. So if you get a 24.5% on that, let's see, how did that work? 25 points. If you get even 1 point below the national mean, you will get a 0. You have to get at least the national mean and above to get your 25 points. Okay? The next thing and we're on page 10 in case anybody's lost me, we'll do the online discussion evaluation criteria. You have to participate in discussion forums, okay? Read what everybody's writing. Don't just read one thing, read a couple. Each student is expected to read all weekly discussion posts. The initial post and required responses are specified by the instructor in the syllabus. So your initial post, your initial discussion post, which answers the question, is due by 11:59 p.m. on Wednesdays, and a response to at least one classmate is due by 11:59 on Sundays. Any discussion post after the 11:59 p.m. deadline will be given 0 credit for the initial discussion and for peer response. It is expected that students actively participate in the discussion forum. Each student is expected to read all weekly discussion posts, contribute 1 initial response discussion post weekly. You can do 2 or 3 or 4, but you have to at least do 1. And contribute participation discussion responses to at least 1 classmate's posting. You must make your initial discussion post on a different day than you make your response post. So don't get in there on Tuesday afternoon and write up your initial response and then right away go respond to somebody else with their response. I want you in there at least 3 times a week, if not more. Okay? For both your initial discussions and your responses, you need at least 1 in-text citation and 1 reference besides our book, okay? So that means you have to go into the library databases and find something. Don't use internet sites like, I can't even think of any, like Facebook. Use something that's medical, like WebMD, I just can't even think right now. Mayo Clinic, any of those that have good outcomes, and they're looking and they're doing research. And when you're doing articles in a journal, always make sure they're within the last 5 years. Okay. Participation postings should include at least one of the following: a citation, reference from the literature, or an experience that relates to the discussion with a reference and a citation to back it up. Your responses must also be an APA. Do not use sources that are older than 5 years. Medical information changes frequently, and I want you to have the most recent information. So the next page, page 11, is your online discussion evaluation rubric. So the very first number 1 is the initial posting. So these are the points you're going to get for this posting. If you take everything right out of the book or out of your article, you will get 0 points under initial response demonstrates that the content was appropriately reviewed and understood and synthesized. If you just write it right out of the book, I'm not going to know you understood what you were saying. I want it in your own words. I want to understand that you understand, okay? Response to 1 classmate's initial posting, same thing. Critical analysis, I want to know it in your own words. I want to know you understand. Posting timelines, and then our APA stuff is in here also. So look that over when you're starting. Okay. The next is your electronic poster. That's due towards, I think, week 11 or 12. I think it's 11. I can't really remember. You'll prepare an electronic poster on a pathophysiology topic of your choice. Electronic poster templates are provided in the course room for your use. See main menu on left of your course room. You may use your own template, but if you do, be sure to include all the required criteria for grading as below. Select a pathophysiology topic of interest to you and prepare an electronic poster. Limit quotations to less than 10% of the assignment. Okay, that means put it in your own words, cite it. You must check with your instructor on the subject of the poster to avoid duplicates. So once you've figured out what your subject is going to be, please text me, email me something so I know. I keep track of that, and I won't let somebody else have I don't want 2 of the same posters. I want all different posters, okay? You can't start the poster until you get the okay, go ahead from me. Yes, you're good to do that, okay? Failure to cite sources on the poster and have a reference list will result in a grade of 0 for the electronic poster, and you have to have 10 references on your poster. There are no redos for this assignment. Learners are required to use the information in the Week 1 APA lesson provided. References must be cited on the poster. 10 or more references are expected. Use the APA format. And then there's a grading rubric, which is your very next page. So it's going to look at everything you do, and I use this grading rubric. I grade with this grading rubric, okay? Next, we have our calendar. So if you look at that, it is going to go through weeks 1 through 16 for you. Okay. Your due dates are clear on the right. So our very first day that we're going to be together is a face-to-face class on Thursday, August 29th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll be from 4 to 5 in the afternoon. It'll be in Ackley Hall in room 207. So I will see you all there at 4 o'clock. There is also I think it's in the startup module in Canvas, there is an APA lesson in there. Please have that done before you come to class. I want you to go through the whole thing, and we'll go through a few other things, okay? You also have an initial discussion that first week and a response, and you also have an introduction discussion, which doesn't get graded. Just the initial, the one discussion gets graded, the introduction one doesn't. Week 1 quiz is due by September 1st. And then if you look through this whole calendar, everything is in there that you need to do, okay? If you look at week 6, there won't be any discussion on week 6 because then we have our first face-to-face midterm exam, okay? That's on October 3rd. That will be in the library computer room, okay? And then if you want to go to page 16, same thing. There will be a discussion. There will be a quiz. October 21st through the 27th is going to be our fall break for pathophysiology. It just falls better that way. So you will not have a discussion and you will not have a quiz that week. Okay? You could probably work on your poster that week, though. That'd be a good time to start your poster. In week 9, I have in there to continue to work on your poster. Okay, and then week 10, your patho poster is due next week. Okay. So let's see, week 11, quiz. Week 12, there's quiz and discussion. On week 13, there is no discussion that week because it is Thanksgiving week. So you will not be in school Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of that week. But on the other hand, we will have a Kaplan exam on that Monday night, November 25th. It will be in the library at the same time. And the calendar doesn't say that either, but it will be in the library from 4 o'clock till 5:30. The Kaplan exam is a 90-minute exam. Okay? And then 14, and then week 15 is it. So in week 15, you're going to have your final exam, and it is on Thursday, December 12th from 4 to 5, and it covers everything from week 7 to week 14. And then you'll also have like an NPCE, which we'll talk about later, and a SAS rubric, which are already done, and that should get you done the week before finals here at the college, so then you can concentrate on your finals. And then on the very last few pages are just the different objectives, learning outcomes that we'll be doing for each week that we're here. So if you have questions, please let me know, and we'll go over it. Anyway, I hope we have a great semester, and I am looking forward to it.